Okay, so let's start. So first of all, thank you so much for joining in. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through one case today, and we'll see how do you approach a case. What is a case? How do you approach a case, and what recruiters expect you during the interview in a case interview, right? And we have almost 20-25 minutes in which initial couple of minutes I will just set the context. I'll introduce myself, I'll set the context, and then we'll directly jump to today's case. Okay, so that will be agenda. And let me share my screen. Yeah, great. So about myself, so just to quickly introduce myself, I'll not take more time on this. So my name is Alok. I am co-founder of GoCrackIt. I am Bangalore alumnus. I have worked in consulting, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and where I led multiple consulting projects for Indian clients. Right. Last 8 years, I have been running GoCrackIt along with my co-founders, and I have been helping students, working professionals. I would have helped more than 5,000 working professionals and students in my journey, and would have conducted more than hundreds of workshops. I'm really glad that we can connect here, and that's about me. Directly jumping to today's agenda, which is case. So I'll take maybe 1 more minute to set the context about case studies, interview, and then we'll directly jump to cases. So a case is basically a business problem or situation given by the interviewer, and it is designed to test your problem solving skills. Generally, whenever a case is given by an interviewer, it's an open ended statement like, my company is losing profitability, what should you do? And it generally might have been, kind of inspired by real world situations. So let's say the interviewer might have solved that problem or might be solving that problem, right? And he just wanted, or she just wanted to test how would you approach it about this particular problem statement. So that's the idea, and it is not expected that you know the answer or you come to an answer. It is expected that you communicate during that case interview. You have a conversation with the recruiter, with the interviewer during the case interview, and you show an approach towards the problem. How do you logically break down the problem? You really analyze the situation or the task or the facts given to you, right? And how do you communicate that? So that's the idea about case, right? Now, why interviewers ask case interviews? So basically, what happens is that now, since the industry is changing very fast, technologies, there are a lot of new technologies are coming. It is very important that one should know how to solve any problem. So there are so many ambiguity. And as the ambiguity increases, your logical mind, your critical thinking, your analytical thinking is what will help you than your past experience. And that's why case interviews have become more prominent in almost all types of interviews. You take you take any consulting interview, analytics interview, product interview, technology interview, any interview, you might find a business case, a business problem given to you, and they would like to see your approach. And that's why cases have become very important. Case interviews are designed to measure your these three important things: problem solving skills. How do you solve a problem? And we will see what do we mean by problem solving skill in the case itself. Your tolerance for ambiguity. When an ambiguous situation is given to you, how do you really how do you really respond to that, right? How do you really structure when a problem is an ambiguous problem is given? And more importantly, how do you communicate in that ambiguity, right? Is what is being evaluated in a case interview. One last thing about cases, that cases can be from any industry or any domain, right? Because so don't you should not be worrying about the industry and domain. Let's say a case is given from an industry which you're not aware of. Let's say it is given from an airline industry or a food industry or a manufacturing industry or a retail industry, whatever, right? You should not worry. You should not have this feeling that I don't know this industry, hence I cannot do well. It is not about the industry. No, it is about how do you solve a problem, how do you break down the problem, How do you communicate that problem breakdown and the logical thinking? So don't get worried if a case is asked which is not from an industry or domain which you're not aware of. So that's the very important point. You should not give up point, right? Which we should keep in mind whenever you're solving a case. So let's now look at a case and see what and how recruiter expect you, what a recruiter expect you in a case interview from you. Okay. And let's do it through a case interview or case study itself. So let's start with the problem statement. Let's say your client is in the apparel business in US. Okay, it sells apparels and it wants to expand their top line. They want to expand their top line. They need your suggestion on how to achieve this growth. How do they grow their top line is the question. The client is a US based apparel business. They wanted to expand their top line and they want suggestions from you that how can you achieve the growth. I want all of you to take maybe half a second or half a minute wait for it and just let me know how would you approach it. What would be your first step? What will you do when this question is given to you by the interviewer? He said, okay, let's say this is what is happening. Just tell me how do you increase the growth and how will you grow the top line? So how would you approach this? You can tell me by unmuting yourself or you can put it in the chat. In the chat as well. Anyone? BCG analysis of client industry. Okay, very good. Okay, anyone else? Right? So I will tell you a framework which you should follow in any case or any question which has uncertainty and try to follow step by step. So let's try to follow this framework step by step. The first and foremost step is you need to ensure that you have understood the problem clearly. You don't have to jump, solve a problem. You don't want to give a signal to a recruiter that I jump to the solving problem without understanding it. You want to understand, you want to make sure that you have understood the problem correctly. The first and foremost step, what you should be doing is that you should clarify, ask clarifying question to the recruiter to understand more about the problem, to understand more about the business, to understand more about any information which will help you to solve this problem, right? Accurately. So first and foremost step is clarify. So what you need to do, first you do the paraphrasing. Just make sure that you have listened to the problem clearly. That is the first step of clarification. That you say, okay, if I understand you correctly, the task is following. That client is into apparel business and it wants to grow its revenue. Is that a current understanding? So you don't want to solve a problem which you heard it right, which you understood it right. So you are paraphrasing it so that you understand, okay, this is the problem and this is what I have to do, right? So that's the first step. Now you need to ask some clarifying question. Now, what are the clarifying question, right? What are the clarifying? What could be some of the clarifying question in order to understand that you have understood the problem correctly? So see, some of the question could be what product segments they operate in. Who are their customers? What channels do they sell through? How are their pricing? Are they premium pricing, mid-market pricing, or affordable? How's the industry? Is it consolidated industry? Is a very competitive industry? Is it very not so competitive or fragmented industry? What kind of industry it is? Who are the competitors? What are our strengths? And more importantly, some questions should be also asked from the topic itself, like what is this business and all those we have asked. They ask how to achieve growth. Is there any number they're expecting? Is there any growth number they're expecting that, let's say they want to say, okay, I want to improve, grow by 10% in 6 months, right? So how much growth are you looking? So whenever you're asking question, ask clarifying question to understand the context, the business context like product, customers, channels, pricing, and all those things. Also try to understand some questions from the things which have been said in the problem statement itself. Like in this case, they wanted to understand. So you're asking, how much growth do you want? What is the timeline in which you want this growth? Any question? Anything? Any other clarifying question would you like to ask? right? So these are some of the questions you should be asking. Now, and you may ask 6 to 7 questions, not more than that. I may also maybe try to understand that, know, a recruiter might give you signals that he or she expects more questions, or now he or she doesn't want you to ask more questions, clarifying questions I'm talking about. So take a pause, ask clarifying questions, paraphrase it, ask clarifying questions, and then get the clarification by the recruiter. So now, what? Let's say recruiter says this, just to give you some more clarity. He or she says this: we are a mid-priced apparel manufacturer which are known for quality at affordable price, and we operate in fragmented market. Like, there are so many small players. It's not one player who is big enough, and we are one of the top 5 players. So you ask some clarifying question, you might get some clarity, you might not get some clarity, and basically you just assume something and move ahead. But this is how you should ask some clarifying question, and you might get some clarity like this. In this case, you have got some that they are a mid-price apparel manufacturing company which are known for their quality at affordable price. And they operate in a fragmented market, means there are so many people. Fragmented market means there are so many people. There's not one or two large players. There are so many small players. And there in those small players, they are the top 5 players. One of the top 5 players. Okay. So that's the clarifying question. Now, next is small but important step is you should understand what is the objective which you need to solve it for. What is expected, what this recruiter expect you in this case study. Just ask what is your objective. Just set the objective with the recruiter, because in this case you're also involving recruiter to think about what should I ask this candidate, what exactly am I expecting from this candidate. It's a very important question, very good, very smart question. You should definitely ask. So you might say, okay, you want me to find out how to grow revenue. Is there any other objective? Now, in this case, you're asking, clarifying the objective. Recruiter might say, okay, yes, this is what I want. Or they may say, no, I just want you to maybe do this. Now, you know a specific task in hand. There's no confusion, because you remember, case interview starts with an open-ended statement, but you're trying to make it more specific, more smart, specific, measurable, actionable for you, right? So that's why this step, asking for objective, is very important. Now you need to come up with a structure. You need to come up with a framework. Framework is like a roadmap. How would you, let's say, go about increasing the revenue of a company? What are some of the ways with which you can increase the revenue? Can somebody tell me some 3 to 5? Just give me 3 to 5 ways to increase the revenue of a company or grow the company. What are some of the ways to grow the companies? Just give me 2 to 3 together, not one, not two, but at least 3 ways to increase the revenue of a company. You can put it in the chat. So think about it. What will be my approach? What will be my framework? What will be my structure to follow in order to increase the revenue of this company, in order to grow this company? Can somebody tell me?
To visualize the previous work.
Okay, very good. What else we can do to increase the revenue of a company? So I want 3 to 4 options. So one is more sales, launch new trending products. Very good. Somebody said sales, cost decrease, inventory cost decrease. Very good. So cost decrease will eventually help you in increasing the profitability. That might increase your sales. Okay. So let's see a structure, a framework on how to grow. Let's see. That is a very important thing. See, on a very broad level, you can grow by either acquiring a company or organically. Organically means with your own efforts. Acquiring means you're just acquiring a company, and hence you're increasing your sales by anything. Let's say you acquire a 100 crore company, your sales increase by 100 crore. That's a short-term but capital-intensive way to acquiring. Now, let's say recruiter says, I don't want this. I want you to focus on this. So let's focus on this. So now, there is something called ENSOF matrix. If you don't know about it, it's okay. But because we are having this discussion, I want to say, if you want to grow a business, there are 2x2 matrix by ENSOF. which gives you a framework on how you grow your business. There are four ways to grow, four strategies to grow a business. So in this 2 by 2 matrix, this is market and this is product. One way to grow your business is that you do market penetration, meaning you sell same products more in your existing market, right? The market penetration. Same product, you try to sell more in your existing market. That is market penetration. Or you introduce new products in the same market. So let's say I am GoCrackIt, I am career service company. Let's say I started giving job also, right? Job services also. So new product in a same market. So that is called product development strategy. Another is, let's say you sell your existing product in a new market. Let's say I am GoCrackIt. Right now I am selling in India. Now I want to sell in Dubai also. So that is called market development. I am selling it to a new market. Same product, new market. Or I am completely diversifying. I'm kind of going with a totally different products, new product to a totally different or new market. So this is how I can increase my sales or grow myself, right? So the same thing, let me see like this. I i apply market penetration strategy where I sell more products to the same market. I apply market development strategy where I sell same product to the new market, or product development where I sell new product to the same market, or diversification where I sell new product to the new market. So this is how I am structuring. I am thinking these are the ways with which I can increase the sales. Can you tell me what should I follow? Now let's say after the discussion, after a mutual consent, you're always involving recruiter and interviewer in your discussion. You're always involving. So you said, would you like me to take which strategy? What strategy would you like me to take? So let's say the recruiter says, I want market penetration strategy, right? Let's say I want you to, create a strategy wherein you sell more products to the same market. So in simple words, basically they just want that whatever I am doing, just keep doing it, but sell more products to the existing market. You need to penetrate the market. You need to go more in the market. So how would you do that? If you have to sell the same product in the same market, what could be some of these strategies? Can somebody tell me? You can put it in the chat. What are some of the ways to sell the same product to the same market, but in the larger quantity? Right? What could be some of the ways? So let's see. So we are going with market penetration strategy. There are some ways with which you can do it. One is you enhance the product, you improve the product quality, or you give more services or more features in a product at the same price. That could be one strategy. Or you increase the price. Increase the price of the same product, right? Or you increase the quantity sold to same client, right? Either way. So either you increase the price of the product and you sell it, or you sell more quantity to a specific per client. Let's say you were selling one apparel, now you're selling 2 apparel per client. In some way you're doing it. Increase distribution. Or increased distribution means, let's say you're selling right now through 100 channels, 100 retail stores, you increase it to 500 retail stores. Or you also venture into D2C, like direct to consumer, online channels. You're going into, let's say, Amazon also, you're going directly to customer through your own website, and you're also selling to the retail. So you increase your distribution and you increase your distribution channels also. Increase marketing or spend, like do more marketing. This could be another way, or it could be combination of that. Now, if you watch this closely, this is nothing but which is called 4P of the marketing. This is product, this is price, this is your channel, right, place, and this is your promotion. So what you are doing in order to increase the sale, do the more market penetration, you are doing a mix of 4P strategy. Either you're improving the product, or you're increasing the price, or you're improving the distribution, or you're improving the marketing spend. So this is how you can use framework. Even if you don't know the framework, it's okay. People don't expect you to buy hard the framework, but these are some of the useful framework to structure your thought. So at least you can remember these things to impress the recruiter by having a more structured approach to a listing. So this is how you're developing your structure. This is how you're explaining your structure. So till now, what we have done, we listened to the problem, we paraphrased it, we clarified it, we set the objective, we have provided one framework, which was this, which we have discussed just now. We took a couple of frameworks. We started with acquisition, organic, then we took ENSOP matrix to finalize our growth strategy as market penetration strategy. And then in market penetration also, we kind of saw what are some of the levers, some of the mix, marketing mix 4P, which we can use to increase our sales. Okay. Now we have shown our structured thinking. Now recruiter will go back and they may give you some data so that they can check. So till now you have shown your how to structure your problem in an ambiguous situation. Till now that's what you have shown to recruiter. Now recruiter may want to see how are you in your data analysis, in your fact analysis. So he or she might give you some data to analyze it. Sometimes they will stop at here and they say, okay, it's okay, I got it, what I got it. Sometimes they want to say, okay, I understood. I mean, they may not say it directly, but what they're saying internally is, I understood this problem. This person can actually structure the problem. He's a structured professional, or he or she is a person who can structure ambiguous situation. Now I want to know whether he or she can analyze data or not. So let's see. So let's say you got this data that, that we will increase the price. So let's say you decided, let's say the recruiter says, okay, we want to go with increasing the price of the product. And it may happen with the increase in price, the demand might increase, because when you increase the price, some demand will go down, which is called elasticity of the demand. In simple word, elasticity of demand is when you increase the price, the quantity purchased is lower because some people are price sensitive, they will not buy the product. So let's say this is the data they have given, and you have to analyze whether they should increase the price of this product to $22 or not, given that elasticity of demand is -1% for each 5% increase in price. So let me give you one by one. What the data is given, some data is just for information, you don't have to use it. But just let's say this is the table given. Annual revenue is 200 million. Their market share is 5% of, let's say, whatever this it says, this market. Units sold annually. Right now, they are selling 10 million units, 10 million jeans or 10 million whatever products they are selling. Their average selling price right now is $20 per unit. And their cost of goods sold is $10, and their gross margin or their profit is 50%. Basically, $20 they're selling, $10 is what they are making in. So $10 they are getting. The gross margin is 50%. That's okay. Now, what we need to see, so the existing sale is 200 million. What we need to find out, if the new price is set to 22 per unit, and if we know that with every increase, every 5% increase in price, the demand decreases by -1%. I want you to calculate how much will be the new revenue if we increase the price to $22 per unit. Can somebody calculate and tell me? It's an easy calculation, but what happens in an interview, you might get confused. To take a slow step back, see the problem clearly, think about it, then do the calculation. So tell me, how much would be the new sales if this is the data? Can somebody try it on?
सर 2% डिक्रीज होगा डिमांड में.
Okay, yes, very good, excellent. So since your price increase is 10% from 20 to 22, so $2 is increase, which is 10%. So because of your elasticity of the demand, 2% is decrease. So what will be your new demand? The existing demand is 10 million. What will be your new demand if the demand is decreased by 2%? You can put it in chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell me. If the existing demand is 10 million and the demand is decreased by 2%, how much will be the new demand? Yeah, 9.8. Very good. right? So what you have done, you have just simply new volume sold is 10 into 1 minus 2%, which is 9.8 million, right? So you have calculated the demand and you know the price, $22, the new price, $22. So you just multiplied it. So your total US dollar is 215, total total revenue is 215.4, which is 15.4%, which is 15.4 more. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, which is, so existing was 200. I've increased the price to $22. So my revenue has increased to 215. So there is no adverse effect of increasing the price. When I increase my this thing by 10%, my volume goes down by 2%. Hence, my new revenue is 215.4, which is good, right? So this is how I am showing that I can do the calculation. Now, remember, it might be simple calculation only. You will not get a very, very difficult calculation. But what happens in an interview, you might get stressed. So don't get stressed. Be confident about yourself. Take a step back. Do the calculation. Even if you're wrong, sometimes what happens, you might do an incorrect thing. Recruiter is not going to punish you. They will give you a hint. Okay, boss, look at your this thing. You might have missed something, right? And you correct it. So don't ever kind of do this thing. Lose your confidence in these kind of situation. So this is how you calculate the risk. So the final stage is recommendation. So what you recommend in this case, just summarize whatever you've discussed, that in order to grow the top line, we can look at both organic and inorganic way of growing the product sales. Inorganic is nothing but acquisition. Then we decided that we will increase the price of product. During the discussion, we decided that we will increase the price of the discussion. And then some data, one specific thing which we figured out, that for growing the sales to US dollar 215 million approximately, we can increase the price of product to US dollar 22 million. And in long term, based on our discussion, let's say you would have discussed more, and they say we can look at increasing our channels, like we can target D2C channels, direct to sales, and direct to consumer channels to sell the products. So this is how you kind of give the entire summary of the thing. You give the key message, whatever you've done, and maybe if you have discussed something about long term, and generally you might have that discussion with the recruiter when you're having a discussion, and you give this also. Sometimes recruiter may challenge you, saying, don't you think that 215 is not a bigger number? You can say, definitely. I understand that increasing the price might not gel well with our brand, but in order to increase the demand, as we discussed in short term, and as we are increasing only 10%, and we have seen that the demand is not decreasing, means there is a demand for our products. So be very confident about your analysis and your point of view. So this is more about point of view. The question recruiter is asking is, don't you think whatever you're recommending, there is some risk to it? In this case, that risk is we are a brand which doesn't want to trouble our customers. So if you are increasing our price, don't you think that our brand will get not so great reputation? And then you're defending it logically, right? So you will always get in recommendation some risk or some objections by the recruiter. You have to handle it confidently and logically. You don't get okay, sorry, no, sir, I should, what should I do now, type of thing. You have to be confident. You have to have a conversation with the recruiter. See what happens, even if you're wrong, but if you're having a good discussion with the recruiter, they will remember you, because ultimately it's not about one answer. It's about how do you approach, how do you answer your questions, how do you answer your objections, how do you structure your points, is what is more important in any case. So just to summarize, listen carefully, paraphrase your understanding. Do not jump to solve the problem. Show your approach, show your framework. It's okay if you don't know a ready-made framework. Just structure the solution logically. Take interviewer's hint. A lot of time interviewer, you will be stuck, right? Just take interviewer's hint. Think aloud. If you're stuck, just think aloud, so that you're showing that this is how I am thinking. And it is okay to get stuck. Just don't give up. Okay, the last thing I want you to do is just give up. Don't give up, and believe me, have confidence. You will be in the right direction. And collaborate with interviewer. have a conversation with the interviewer so that you get that confidence, so that you can show that you can communicate even when you are not so, if even if you're stuck at a problem, right? For solving a lot of cases, I want one that you read McKinsey way. There's a book which is given in this. This is an excellent book on how do you structure your problem solving skills. Must read. It's not a big book. It will take maybe a couple of hours to read it, but definitely must read this book. Understand some key frameworks. Again, I've given us a link where you can read about it. For guesstimates, when you're doing guesstimates, you should learn some macro numbers like population, internet penetration, literacy rate, income distribution in India and world, etc. Form a group of 2 to 3 students or professionals or anyone, right? It's not just that you have to be in college to practice case studies. Just form a group with at least one person and just practice with him, where one person is asking question, another is solving it, and other way around. And yeah, there are some more links where you can go. We have been doing a lot of practicing with industry mentors. So we do give one-to-one career guidance with the help of practice, with the help of industry mentors. So if you want to talk to someone in terms of for your career guidance, for your resume review, for your mock interviews, you can connect with us. There's a link. You can access this, or it's simply gocrackit.com. We have a lot of ready-made courses on guesstimates, case studies. If you want, you can again go through them as well. And thank you so much. All the best. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can follow our page. We do these kind of sessions very frequently. Almost every week we are doing 2 to 3 times. And we have our YouTube also, where you can get all these details. All this, whatever we are doing right now is being recorded and it's being uploaded on our case playlist, where you can access all these cases. In general, follow us in LinkedIn, YouTube, connect with me, have a conversation, and always great to have a connection with you. Thank you so much and all the best.